What's up, Dice Crew? Keeping it a Benji, and I'm getting back with you. Now, first off, shout out to the Dice Crew, and second, shout out to the sponsors, the re-up. I'm gonna have a link in the description so y'all can tune in with them. Now, look, I'm sure by now everybody is caught up with this whole situation pertaining to EYEKON. You know, he's a Mexican podcaster who has some remarks pertaining to Kendrick Lamar's pop-out show. He said that he felt like Mexicans were underrepresented and so on and so on or whatever, you know. And I spoke on it. Handful of podcast channels or news outlets, whatever, spoke on it. But we got LA Icon responding to all the backlash that he been receiving. And we also got Milk74 chiming in on it. So let's tune in and see what this all about. I'm going to keep it a Benji for y'all doing the reaction. Y'all keep it a Benji for me in the comments. Let's rock.
Go. So I recently did a reaction to a clip of a Mexican podcaster named LA Icon saying that he felt the Mexican people were underrepresented at Kendrick's Lamar Juneteenth concert. Now he responded to all the backlash that he got. So we gonna go and we gonna see what he had to say. Come on.
So there is a viral clip on the internet right now of me, which is titled "Mexicans Feel Underrepresented at Juneteenth Concert." I'd like to add context and clarity to this whole situation. And I'd like to start off by saying, number one, I did not know that it was a Juneteenth concert. To my knowledge, the show was called Ken and Friends Pop-Up Concert.
Now, so to your knowledge, you knew the name of the show. Now, so if you knew the name of the show, now before I even knew what this show was, I heard people saying, we going to the Kendrick's Juneteenth concert. We trying to get some tickets for the Juneteenth concert. So if you knew what the show name was, bro, you mean to tell me that you didn't know that it had anything with Juneteenth? You didn't think that it was related in any way to Juneteenth, bro? I'm finding that hard to believe. But come on.
And I feel like this. If what LA Icon is speaking on is true, then that's okay. But I feel like he's delivering it with not so much respect. You know, he should be a little bit more humble with his approach and a little bit more apologetic. You know, he should be saying that that was his fault for not doing his homework and not having the knowledge he's supposed to have before he speak on something. But he's kind of like coming off more like sarcastic, making certain face, you know, that's just how it go.
I thought the show was a victory lap on him in the battle with Drake. Second of all, I did not know exactly what Juneteenth stood for.
I want to know this. So if you didn't...
And before Milk speak, I just want to say this. For LA Icon to be a Hispanic, but to weigh in about Mexicans being able to participate in anything that black people got going on, I feel like he keep exposing his hand on how much he just do not respect the black community. You know, I think the Juneteenth thing been like a something that been like a big topic for like 3 years now, maybe. And for you to act like you got love and respect for the black culture and you ain't took the time out to have at least a little bit of understanding on what Juneteenth represents, then that just shows a lot about you, you know what I mean?
Exactly know what...
Second of all, I did not know exactly what Juneteenth stood for.
I want to know this. So if you didn't exactly know what Juneteenth was, why did you get on that clip saying, you know, if I'm not mistaken, Juneteenth have something to do with a massacre, the massacre in Tulsa or somewhere around that area? That's what you said, bro. So if you didn't know what Juneteenth was. Why would you get on there and say it had anything related? It was anything related to like a massacre, bro. Like, why would you even say that, bro? And you are a person in the media. You do podcasts, bro. How are you not gonna know what Juneteenth is, bro? And then you don't know what it is. You had no idea. Why would you go in there and say it has something to do with a massacre in Tulsa? Like, why would you say that, bro? You should, when you was getting hints from your co-podcasters, you should have just said, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I don't know what Juneteenth is. That would have been more, like, acceptable, okay, respectable. Well, let's go.
I know now. Juneteenth stands for and is celebrated because of the emancipation of people that were enslaved, aka the abolishment of slavery. So, shout out to Juneteenth, right? But my statement was clipped and titled, which took away the context from which my statement, which was I started off the statement by saying, I woke up this morning to a lot of posts about Kendrick Lamar unifying Los Angeles gangs on that stage. Kendrick had all of Los Angeles outside, things of that nature. Again, I did not know it was a Juneteenth event. Nowhere in my mind do I think Mexicans or Latinos are entitled to perform at a Juneteenth event.
So you woke up and you were seeing all these posts related to the Kendrick Lamar concert, and you didn't see on none of them posts Juneteenth, bro. You didn't see Juneteenth on them concert. You did not see Juneteenth nowhere. That's really, really, really hard to believe. I'm not even gonna lie. Now he's saying people took this clip and clipped it again and titled it and took it all out of context. No, they didn't. No, we didn't. We took a clip.
This is funny a little bit because Milk feel offended because EYEKON is pretty much saying that Milk is the first person who, and I think he was like, he the one who put the clip out there. So he feel offended, like EYEKON is trying to say, like, he cooked something up. You know what I mean?
Of you on there. The other podcast host was telling you, yeah, it was Juneteenth. And you was like, oh, I thought Juneteenth was on June 16th. This what you was saying, bro. And he was like, no, it was yesterday.
And I'm gonna say this too. Sometimes you gotta comprehend well instead of make some assumptions and be in your feelings, like for the most part, no, Kendrick Lamar did not unify so many different gangs in LA. For one, that's just my opinion on it. If you know, I didn't see a whole lot of just unity like that. But I will say he played a big part on unifying the hip hop culture from Los Angeles, or maybe we could say California to West Coast. But for Los Angeles, definitely he spotlighted and unified and put a lot of talent in one room, in one building, on one stage, And I'm talking about even with the clown dancing and all that, the DJing, the rapping, singing, that was big. I would say he did more of that unity than anything, But even if we was gonna say he unified some gangs, that would be like, you would have to use your mind and pay attention to say like, okay, he's unifying black founded gangs. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Crips, Pyrus, so on and so on. It's not necessarily meaning that he's unifying every gang from LA, whether it's Hispanic or not. You know what I mean? That's what you should have been able to observe. Just like if you was to have a person like, I don't know, who would y'all say? I don't know why I can't think about nobody's name right now, but y'all know, like, just any one of these rappers that's Hispanic, that's doing their thing well, and they was talking about, oh, look, they unified at LA. I would expect them to kind of just, do something with 10, 20 different other Southern Mexican rappers. That's how I would have just viewed it. I wouldn't have assumed that they was trying to say like, oh, this dude was responsible for bringing all the other black gangs and all this other stuff together too. I just wouldn't have thought that way. But, it's a good conversation though. And I think people can learn from it overall.
And you like, oh no, and you just kept talking. Then you said, well, I don't know I think no. If I'm not mistaken or wrong, the Juneteenth is something in relations to a massacre. That's what you were saying, bro. So how are we taking it out of context? Like, how is we clipping a little part and taking it out of context? Nobody did that, bro. Not at all. Come on.
One Latino did, shout out to OGZ. But again, I don't think we're entitled to perform at such an event. Now, I think it's safe to say all of you would agree that if it wasn't a Juneteenth event, my statement has absolute validity. There's no Mexicans on stage, and you're saying all of Los Angeles hip-hop scene is present, or all of the gangs in Los Angeles are being represented.
Now, I'm going to say this. At least EYEKON is clearing up them remarks pertaining to like everybody taking it as he was feeling so entitled. At least he's kind of clearing that up. And on one hand, I will say that I do understand what he's saying. Like, you have to be precise on what you say. Just like, he feel that way for Mexicans. But you have a lot of other Crips and Damus that feel the same way EYEKON feel. Like, they felt like you got to stop using the word unifying all the LA gangs and all this and this and that, when it was a lot of representation missing in that picture. You know what I mean? So I ain't saying like he just like EYEKON is not totally like off the wall with what he's saying. Like, I get it. Now, yeah, like if it wasn't a Juneteenth situation, then yeah, possibly if you're gonna be saying you unified all this in Los Angeles and this what people saying, then we need to make sure that's exactly what takes place. But what happens nowadays is that you got a lot of people who opinionate, tweet, comment, put out anything, and we try to judge outsiders for their comments as opposed to people that's directly involved. Like, I don't think the people that was hosting that pop out concert, Ken and Friends, I don't know if they was just really represented in that type of form. Now, if they did, then hey, that's them for kind of misleading with their titles and so on and so on. But, people always want to make certain stuff seem bigger than what it is. And I'm not trying to belittle that situation. Music-wise, that was great. Hip-hop-wise, rap, that was great. That was great for the culture. For everybody that was involved. You can't take away from that. But people trying to slide certain things in there and make it seem like it's just a big LA unified situation or a big different gangs unified and all that stuff, that's just not so much of what it was. That's just my opinion. Was it a lot of different individuals from certain places and stuff at times? Yeah, but it wasn't like, that's not the vibe I caught from it, Like, unifying more stuff will be, and I ain't trying to bring up more of like a bad time in LA, but being more unified with the gangs and the culture in LA, I would probably use more like the loss of Nipsey Hussle. You know what I mean? Certain gangs really putting differences behind them for the moment or whatever the case may be. A lot of blacks and Mexicans running around showing love. Just everybody standing with each other. That's what I would kind of carry. I would use as more of a definition of what was bringing LA together.
Then, yeah, there should be Mexicans there.
Now, maybe the LA hip hop, if it was a concert like that, yeah, okay. But now, if it's Kendrick Lamar and it still didn't have nothing to do with Juneteenth, and he was bringing together like all the gangs, the black gangs, like the Crips, Bloods, the Hoovers, bro, that still don't don't mean that it should be no like Southside rappers on that stage. Why would it be Southside rappers up there, bro? They can't be with them Crips and Bloods and Hoovers and Pyrus in the county jail, lo. So why would they be up there, bro? Now, like I said, if it was a Crush Groove, Fire Fest, whatever type of concert that they be having, I ain't never been to a concert. I've been to one concert, 21 Savage concert at the Novo, like years ago. That was the only concert that I ever been to, and I went there with my girl, really. But what I'm saying is, like, your statement still holds no validity. It seems to me that you getting on there and your statement was in some type of way like you gonna like force somebody to do what you say, homie. But let me tell you this, bro. You feel like Mexicans was underrepresented at that concert, Juneteenth concert, bro. Then I'ma say that I feel like black people is underrepresented in the hospitality industry. Black people is underrepresented at the radio stations, bro. Like, what are you saying? And I could go on and on and on. Tam's Burgers, the Tam's Burgers that black people eat and keep afloat. Spend a lot of money. Food stamps there, bro. They underrepresented there. I have never.
Now, you know, I will say this, right? Now, I remember when Duno and them and the Brown Bag had got that job. I think it's at Power 106. I think they still over there. Shout out to them, the whole Brown Bag and them. And I seen Dejon Paul. That was one of his first introductions to No Jumper with T-Rail and AD. And he was pointing out on how when on the radio station scene, it's not a lot of black people involved. You know what I mean? And I do agree with that. You know, you should have more black people involved with the radio. And we gonna be talking about rap and hip hop and all that. They should be more involved, right? So I do get that. Then I don't agree so much with the comments that Milk is saying with the whole Tams and restaurants in certain places. I feel like some stuff is just like what we either go for or what we don't. You know, if they're not gonna put black people in there and you don't wanna, and they ain't gonna meet you in compromise and put us in positions, then we just can't eat that. We can't support that, you know? But also we gotta take accountability for what positions we do put ourselves in or what we don't put ourselves in. You know, we gotta do what we gotta do. You know, you gotta fill them applications out. You know, you gotta invest your money into this. You know, you gotta stop trying to be into that and you gotta get off into this. Because why, as a community, black people brains is everywhere else but where it need to be, far as unifying the communities and owning things and just being involved with things that's directly in our community. You know, we got to think about more. We can't just represent that street and that address. We got to represent a building, you know, a company, a business, something else on that address, you know, on that street. Not just representing these streets and stuff just for the, you know, more of the glamour or the boasting and bragging of some of the negative things that have occurred. Not saying that it's wrong for you to be proud. You can be proud and have pride in anything that's going on. But we got to put ourselves in position and try, you know, and if that fail and we try our best to be a part of these situations and they still not meeting us in the middle, then that's where we got to start boycotting. Use yourself. And we got to use ourselves for what it's worth. You know, we don't move as one enough to make a person view us as and see the real value in us.
Yet once seen a black worker, employee at a Tom's, anything like that, bro. I've never seen a black person working on a taco truck, bro. So I feel like it's a lot of places that black people are underrepresented. But let's go.
Again, the clip was taken. It was titled what it was titled. We do live in a content era on the internet, and, you know, they made content of my statement. It's unfortunate that it was taken out of context and it was clipped. However, it was clipped. But It is what it is, and here we are. So again, I did not know it was a Juneteenth event. I did not know what Juneteenth stood for. I now know. And Mexicans are not entitled to be present on a stage celebrating Juneteenth. But yeah, that's what it is, man. Shout out to Juneteenth, now that I know what it actually stands for. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to all of those of you at home that also didn't know what Juneteenth was. But now you know exactly what Juneteenth stands for because of this video. You know, shout out to everyone watching the food community, man. Happen.
And you know, I could be wrong. I ain't trying to add on no negative into the dish, but I feel like he's definitely just kind of belittling the whole black community, and just, you know, he's making it harder for black people to just receive their flowers. You know, they gave us that day. Some people celebrate it. Some people was a fan of it or not. But just the whole idea is what certain people support. You know, the whole idea is to be like giving flowers and celebrating, you know, the freedom of black people from slavery. And you got to respect the idea of that. Whatever is true, real, whatever was going on with this date or whatever it all may be, we got to kind of give a little bit of respect at least behind the idea of what that supposed to represent. And the way he keeps saying like a lot of people didn't know what that mean, it's like you shouldn't even keep weighing in on that, because you making it like you create more of a separation. You know, it's showing that we don't respect black people, and you speaking for you and other people who don't know it. I understand that it's probably people from the black community that don't know too, but they probably just don't know it in the form of being able to break it down for word. But you gotta have enough common sense and knowledge to know, like, okay, this is about, you know, pretty much just giving black people some flowers. No matter what it is, you know, I don't know the inner works of a lot of things, you know, but I know what's just giving they flowers out. You know, I don't know what's all the in and outs of 4th of July and Veterans Day and all that. I just know it's about giving flowers. I don't know what's all going on behind why is it Father's Day and Mother's Day. I just know it's about giving flowers to mothers and fathers, you know. Same with Cinco de Mayo. Like, I don't really know everything to where I could break it down detail for detail, but I know that Mexicans celebrate it. They take it as an honor. So the idea for me is just that, you know, giving flowers to Mexicans. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So sometimes, you know, you got to just use your brain and try to show some respect. You got to lead with respect no matter what it is.
Excuse my ignorance. Yeah. EYEKON, full community. You know what it is, baby. I'm out.
This was dry. It just seemed real dry to me. It just don't seem genuine. It seems something that a PR would give somebody, bro, to try to like wiggle that.
You know, I do agree with Milk on that one. You know, the way he broke that down, that it do seem kind of dry. I get it.
Way out of a situation. Where was the apology at? It just seems dry, my bro. You spoke your real truth. Like, even if it was a mistake because you didn't know what Juneteenth was, bro, it's still like whatever happens in the dark will come to the light, bro. Like, you trying to like force your way into something, bro. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff that the Mexican community don't invite or have a lot of black people involved in, bro. If you look at Tom's Tams, I have never seen a black worker at one of those places. Nowhere that is ran or is owned by Mexicans, you see black people working there, bro. So I feel like when it comes to the Mexican businesses, black people are underrepresented. They really are, bro. I'm going to tell you where else they underrepresented it. In my eyes, if it's a Mexican manager at any place, bro, they're not really going to hire black people, bro. So when it's a Mexican manager, supervisor, black people are going to be underrepresented at that establishment location. It's just the truth. I'm just being real, bro. Like, I could just keep going on and on and on You know, where I feel like black people are underrepresented, bro. Oh, this wasn't no sincere apology. It was like 7 little edited little zips in there, bro. So you were saying other stuff, but they had you clip it and clean it up. Just speak your truth and do you. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about this.